beat Mamelodi Sundowns in the Carling knockout final, away from home with goals from Kakora and Abrahams in extra time to pick up their first trophy and really put themselves on the map as far as a competitive side is concerned. However, later on in the season, they lost both at home and away against Mamelodi Sundowns, who were crowned champions for the 8th time in a row. And tonight, Mamelodi Sundowns will be hoping to get their first victory away from home this season, having drawn twice on the road so far. Once against Chippa United in Port Elizabeth and once against Orlando Pirates in Orlando just about a couple of days ago. So good evening and welcome to the Seshego Stadium. We are in Polokwane, and Betway Premiership round number 3 it continues. We've already had 5 matches played yesterday, 12 goals scored in those 5 matches and plenty of action as well. And log leaders at the moment are Sekhukhune United, Kaizer Chiefs just behind them on goal difference but level on points at the top of the table. I'm joined in commentary by the General himself, a former Mamelodi Sundowns star and a South African international footballer and a very legend of note in the South African football context. His name is Teko Modise. Hello, Teko.
How are you, Mr. Evans? Good evening to the viewers as well. I think we're anticipating a very, very good game from Mamelodi Sundowns and Magesi team. With Mamelodi Sundowns, we'll see as well later on into the lineup as well, the amount of changes that they made. But coming here to a team that they know they still have that wound that happened last season, especially in that cup final that they suffered.
Something that'll never be forgotten by Mamelodi Sundowns, that's for sure. Something that'll forever be celebrated by Magesi FC, who, to add another credit to their list of growing credits, is they are the only side in South African history to have been promoted twice from the ABC Motsepe League, about 5 years apart, if my memory serves me correctly. So they really have come up with the goods on the odd occasion, but I think the cherry on top would have been that cup victory over Mamelodi Sundowns in the Carling knockout. Coach John Maduka makes just the one change then from the side that drew with Stellenbosch FC here on last Wednesday. Thabang Sibanyoni into the starting lineup in the place of Khotatso Mariba. Sibanyoni, formerly from Mamelodi Sundowns, Tuks and Richards Bay FC. But here's the formation from Magesi.
Yeah, with Magesi, you're looking to see them playing that 4-4-2, especially with Makubu and Sibanyoni. Those are the players that will be traveling Mamelodi Sundowns inside the box. Bandala and Musadi, they'll be expecting to get those 1v1s on the side to bring in those crosses. But defensively, they'll be looking to make sure that they do have that solidarity that they need in order for them not to concede against Mamelodi Sundowns.
John Maduka, you'll remember him from Royal AM, where he did as best as what I suppose he could have done under the really difficult circumstances. But it's great to see him in a coaching job once again. 2 draws to start the season for Magesi FC. 0-0 against Polokwane City, 1-1 against Stellenbosch FC. This is the lineup then from Mamelodi Sundowns, making 10 changes from the MTN8 draw against Orlando Pirates. Williams is the only player that's been retained to the back 3, and then 4 in the middle with Kekana, Mkhulise, Mabena and Pasadine, and then Kekana and Shalulile up front.
Yeah, with Mamelodi Sundowns, with those 10 changes that they made against, especially from the game that they played against Orlando Pirates, Peter Shalulile back into the lineup, Lekako and Mabena, they'll be operating more on the side. But the interesting part is that Kekana, Mkhulise and Adams and Pasadine, they'll be the one marshalling in that midfield, adding numbers going forward. But defensively, August, Lebusa and Lunga, they need to be very, very careful, especially playing against Sibanyoni and Makubu, that they'll be bringing so many balls inside the box.
There is Coach Miguel Cardoso. He's the head coach of Mamelodi Sundowns. And probably see Steve Compella amongst the bench players as well. We are going to have a moment of silence for Tendai Ndoro, who passed away in midweek at the age of 40. A moment of silence, perfectly executed. As we said, in remembrance of Tendai Ndoro, we'll remember him in his playing days in Highlands Park and Ajax Cape Town. salute from Ronwen Williams and the rest of his squad here for Mamelodi Sundowns, travelling away for the third time this season and back-to-back away matches for the defending league champions. Both captains are both goalkeepers are the captains of the sides today. Our match referee is Mr. Tsidiso Mkhonazi with Sipho Mahlangu and Thabo Tinani, the assistant referees. Kuki Mapilo is the fourth official for this encounter. We are really looking forward to something special here in Seshego.
The presence of the Honorable Executive Mayor of Bulumane Municipality, Councillor John Magoro Musima, the Executive Mayor in the House.
So ready to get underway then in Seshego. It will be Mamelodi Sundowns who will get us underway this evening. Lovely cool evening here in Seshego. Mamelodi Sundowns in their away strip of yellow and white. They'll attack the goal to the left-hand side of your screen where Elvis Chipazeze is waiting to make his first intervention. Magesi FC playing in the mostly blue with some white stripes diagonally across the chest of the jersey, and they will play from left to right during the course of the first 45 minutes. Thanks for joining us on your World of Champions this evening. Great to have you with us. Important part of the season it is, right at the beginning, and fascinating. Mamelodi Sundowns with a win and a draw so far in 5th position on the table and a chance to go up to 3rd place above Marumo Gallants and Durban City. Already we have a yellow card for foul play.
Yeah, he was dispossessed the ball there, he was so much under pressure for Mulemo. He had to resort to just taking one for the team because he was in a dangerous area where Makubo was looking forward to initiate that counter-attack that we know that Magesi has.
Now, Wonderboy Makubu is a very, very dangerous player indeed. It's a good cross into the area, and Ronwen Williams clearing almost a la defender instead of goalkeeper, keeper sweeper. And he's not happy, is he?
Yeah, he's not. And this is a game that also you need to expect those type of early balls inside the box, especially knowing that you have those two big boys inside the box. Now they'll be training towards making sure that they do have those early balls.
Fascinating to see the number of the plays that have been retained by Magesi FC from their National First Division or the Motepe Foundation Championship victory 2 seasons ago, and then also through the last year, Elvis Chipazeze, Delano Abraham, Sipho Mahlangu, Zwandile Buthelezi, John McConey, all previously retained. Wonderboy Makubu there as well. Looking for an interesting and enterprising start from Mamelodi Sundowns today. Took the lead over Orlando Pirates in that cup game, and Pirates fought back with that angled goal from Sabili Bili, but Ronwen Williams had a little bit of a slip before not being able to quite make up the ground in front of the former Chiefs Galaxy man. First shot in anger from Mamelodi Sundowns comes from Kulise.
Kevin as well with the Mamelodi Sundowns, looking at that midfield with Mkhulisi, Basadine and Adams and Kikana, they'll be trying to play in between those pockets, knowing that the pitch is so narrow. They need to play in tight spaces. You need to be able to play those 1-2s because that long ball will forever be coming from Magesi.
We're only a couple of minutes into this match, and Ronwen Williams has already made one intervention clearing off the line with the feet, and now he's come way out of his penalty area to make a clearance as well, and it's very clear that Magesi is not here to make up the numbers.
No. They want to compete, and also they possibly want to take advantage of the fact that you do have Lunga, Libusa and Overs. Those are, the defenders that normally don't play together. We know Libusa, Overs as well as an out-and-out defensive midfielder, but he's occupying a different role today. So they're trying to take advantage of that, to play those long balls, making sure that Sibanyoni and Makubu are running towards.
Let's have a chat about that quickly, because Coach Miguel Cardoso making the 10 changes, only retaining Ronald Williams. Of course, there's a big cup match coming up against Pirates over the weekend, but just how disruptive or how creative can that be?
I mean, it will obviously disturb the flow of the team. I mean, 10 changes, and you're looking at all these players that haven't really played an official game together. So a little bit of disruption in terms of the flow, but the understanding of the system, understanding of the role will be expected from Yoshalulile, from Mukulisi, that have been into the team. Mabena, that has also been introduced now and then, Letaku as well. But you're expecting talent to rise to the top, especially in the tight spaces. The talent, the Mabena, the Letaku, the 1v1 situation, and also Peter Shalulile to be inside that box table to punish if ever there is any ball that is bouncing in.
Interesting options here for Mamelodi Sundowns. Their first free kick of the match, and it's just about 12-13 meters inside the half of Magesi FC, and a chance here for the right foot of Spelele Mkhulise. Goes to the back post, headed away for a corner by Magesi. That poor lady in the crowd trying to protect herself against the drummer in front of her with arms flailing all over the place. She goes over with a blackout. There'll be some explaining to do.
She chose the wrong seat.
Straight away from the set piece, there's another set piece for Mamelodi Sundowns with their first corner kick of the match. Sundowns looking to pile on the pressure. This time it'll be a goal kick to Magesi. Really an enterprising side under Clinton Larson, and then they were promoted, and Clinton Larson went and sought greener pastures. Owned Gama popping up here and seeing Magesi into 13th position on the table and surviving their first season in the Betway Premiership. Mamelodi Sundowns, well, what's more to be said about the Mamelodi Sundowns that have won 8 Betway Premiership titles on the trot?
Yeah. I guess both teams do have interesting stories for this season. Mamelodi Sundowns, they were looking to retain their title, but to continue as well with their dominance as well. But also for Magesi, always the second season is always tough, especially after surviving your first one. So they'll be looking to make sure that possibly now they're fighting for the top 8 berth, which is going to be very challenging for them. But they need to use that home ground advantage to effect, because they know that the pitch is so small. They need to be decking set pieces. They need to make sure that teams don't like traveling to Seshego Stadium.
Delano Abrahams, a 29-year-old, formerly from Hungry Lions, and then moved to the University of Pretoria Tuks. He's a phenomenal player on the flank, and he really can cause all sorts of trouble. Looking to do so from the header. Great save, Ronald Williams. It might have been his own play that knocked it back toward him.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be that game for Magesi. Set pieces, they need to use them very well. And Ronald Williams, with his experience, it's going to require that leadership. The ones that needs to be very vocal, because you do have players that haven't really played that much. But look at that flick as well, just behind Peter Shalulile. Sibanyoni able to get that through. Yeah,
it was actually Sibanyoni got his head to it, just behind the defensive Sundowns. And Williams is really switched on. He has to be switched on tonight. Maybe working a little harder in the opening 7.5 minutes that he would have wanted to. And what's the key here for Mamelodi Sundowns to get possession, slow it down completely?
I don't think Magesi will allow Mamelodi Sundowns to have enough time on the ball. Look at how he rises there without even touching Peter Shalulile, without even causing a foul. So that really tells you that inside the box, Mamelodi Sundowns, they will be required to defend a little bit better. But number one in South Africa, making sure that he plays that away.
Set piece after set piece after set piece for Magesi FC at the moment. Finally, there's a clearance from Mamelodi Sundowns. And this is a very positive and enterprising start from Magesi FC, who are caught offside for the first time. Cholang Masakela, one of 8 players in the starting lineup who are playing for the 3rd time in the starting lineup for Magesi FC, showing some consistency from John Maduka. They have signed a couple of players as well. Regan van der Ross and Curtly Napier, the most recent signings. Makoni, beg your pardon, van der Ross, who played at Celtic and Maritzburg United, and Curtly Napier at Castrick Stars in the first division out in KwaMashlanga. But two new signings that haven't had a run yet. Samuel Dapo hasn't had a run in the starting lineup. Tepa Kokora, remember him from NB La Masia, he hasn't had a run either. Nice touch from Fawaz Basadine, playing on this left-hand side, but not able to hold on to possession for too long. And Magesi really are hustling this newly constituted Mamelodi Sundowns side.
They have to, knowing that there will be some sort of disturbance in that Mamelodi Sundowns fluidity. So you need to be a little more aggressive, especially after winning the ball. Try to play the ball a little quicker to get into behind Mamelodi Sundowns defense, knowing that you do have overs on the right-hand side, who's naturally not a hard runner or a defender rather, and try to make use of those opportunities, especially not allowing Mamelodi Sundowns on the ball.
Tepa Makgoga this time straying offside. Former Venda Football Club veteran, 34-year-old centre back Makgoga alongside him Zwandile Buthelezi, who's just a year younger than Makgoga, and Magesi already offside 3 times in the opening 10 minutes. Yeah, it's fascinating for Mamelodi Sundowns. If you look at some of the players, I mean, Ronald Williams has played every match so far, so this is number 5 on the trot. But Tusi Albers has played 1 off the bench. Marcelo Busa's played 1 in the starting lineup, 2 off the bench. Devon Lunga 1 and 1. Sipilele Mkulize gets a complete debut in the season, hasn't played at all so far. Neither, for that matter, as Khomelelo Kekana. And Siyabonga Mabena has played twice off the bench, and it just shows the level between the first team and the bulk of the reserves that we're seeing here. But you know, we've seen this often from Mamelodi Sundowns, and we see it as well with the switching of players. There's a foul from Tolang Masechela. There's an African trip coming up in the CAF Champions League. They need the depth of squad, as we've seen over the years. Yeah,
and also it's an advantage for Coach Cardoso as well to be able to use those players early on into the season. But also maybe in hindsight, is you look at the type of injuries that players had against Orlando Pirates over the weekend. So you need to be able to manage those. And there's a lot of players as well that have played so many games. Your Mukwenas, your Alenders. Those are the players also that need to be rested. But yet again, it gives your Mabenas, the Kekanas on the midfield, the Mkulisi as well to be back into the team.
Peter Shalolile with a great opportunity to continue with his goal-scoring antics as far as South Africa is concerned. Massive at Highlands Park when they earned promotion to the Premier League, and when they sold their status to TX Galaxy. Players like Matobi Mvala and Siyabonga Mbata and Peter Shalolile all moving over to Mamelodi Sundowns, and absolutely phenomenal what they've done with their careers since moving from the Highlands Park TX Galaxy setup. Not that they didn't contribute to Highlands Park. I mean, they were absolutely massive for Highlands Park's success in the Premier League when they were promoted from the Motsepe Foundation Championship, and then finished in the top 8 in their first season.
And I think also they end up going to the final, rather. I think in one of the cup competitions, I think they played at Orlando Stadium. So they were a formidable side, the hard-running side. Peter Shalolile deadly in terms of the goals. Vala as well, set pieces as well. Comes just Mamelodi Sundowns becomes such an important player, of course, with the injuries that occurred as well. A national team player as well. Peter Shalolile, the captain of the national team. So these are, you rightfully say, these are the players that really, really did well after Highlands Park in terms of their career.
The Betway Premiership is into its third week of action. This weekend will be the second leg of the semi-finals of the MTN 8, and also the start of the Motsepe Foundation Championship. The NFD will get underway on Friday. And just talking about that, and we talk about sides that are maybe loading their teams, and as Highlands Park did. Pause that thought for a moment. Some defending to be done, and a little clip across the face of goal coming from Wonderboy Makubu. Still proving to be a handful.
He's going to be a handful, a hard runner.
And got to be careful not to give the ball away to Tabang Sibanyoni. He's a very large unit indeed, is Sibanyoni. And he saw how he got the elevation when he got behind Peter Shalolile. And those sort of passes around the edge of the penalty area, if you're not playing regularly, he's exceptionally dangerous.
Yeah, they are, but that's Mamelodi Sundowns for you. They will play the Mamelodi Sundowns way, regardless of the conditions, regardless of who they're playing against. And that becomes an important part in terms of Mkulisi as well, that knows that role very well. He's been in the Mamelodi Sundowns colour for years and understands identity as well. That's why Ronald Williams is able to trust him even through the crowd.
Mabena looking lively in the midfield for Mamelodi Sundowns. So the referee will be making a note of Makgoga's challenges.
Yeah, it's the second time now. But it's interesting as well when you look at Magesi when they don't have the ball. They have adopted the one-on-one system. Everybody goes with their man. And now you have runners up front with Sibanyoni and Makubu that really don't allow Mamelodi Sundowns to gain that fluidity. It's going to be interesting to see then how they end up.
Kekana forward, looking for Peter Shalolile. There was also Mosa Lebusa who pushed forward into that situation from a set piece. Moving his way forward from his centre-back position, the 32-year-old who is playing for the 4th time tonight. I haven't had much of a look of Elvis Chipazeze. What a hero he was in the Carling knockout. Interesting competition there. The player of the match voted for by fans, and I'm not sure how much money he made, but I think it was close to $500,000.
He made a lot of money there.
Just the player of the match awards. Yeah. But I mean, just look at what his contribution was. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Another corner for Mamelodi Sundowns, cleared by Magesi. Kekana finds Mabena. Oh, a little slider through into the area, maybe just a little on the strong side from Letlaku.
You're expecting the synergy from the young ones. There's always something about the young players whenever they play together. They just have this understanding within themselves as well. It'll be interesting to see then how the game pans out for Mabena, Letlaku and Kekana, which they combine the combination as well with the Letlaku playing that ball with his right foot. Very clever little pass, but it's just too hard for Mabena to be able to get at the end of it.
Two other matches that are being played tonight. Amazulu hosting Marumo Gallants and Orlando Pirates playing against Stellenbosch FC. So 3 of the semi-finalists for this coming weekend's MTN8 all in action tonight. Sekhukhune United played last night and won by 3-0 over the newly promoted Orbit College, and Eric Tinkler finds himself at the top of the table. And I'll tell you what, when I did an interview with him, he had a huge grin on his face, and one can understand why. Pressure here from Magesi. They hit the crossbar, and once again the defence of Mamelodi Sundowns just caught a little bit napping. Another chance for Sibanyoni. Oh, the defence has to be switched on, and that's really top defending from Mamelodi Sundowns.
Look at those balls that are inside the box coming in. They're very troublesome. Look at the play here. Mamelodi Sundowns not organised on time. Ibrahim's bringing that ball just in between Williams and the defenders. It finds Musadi on the left-hand side. It's such unfortunate there to be able to score. I think it was Makubu that hit the upright. That defensive line, it's questionable, and Magesi are asking the right question inside the box.
They certainly are. Another corner for the home side. More pressure being exerted by Wonderboy Makubu. Had a spell at Sekhukhune United, and Sekhukhune United and Magesi having some sort of relationship as far as players on loan is concerned, and players being played. Well, that's out Wonderboy Makubu, one of them. Leklanola Machali, another. Vandala as well. A couple of players on the bench as well. But so far, that combination of Tabang Sibanyoni and Wonderboy Makubu. And Makubu much more mobile. He's not quite of the same, quite a large stature as Tabang Sibanyoni, but Sibanyoni's presence in the penalty area is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's a well-balanced two centre forwards, and they will complement each other very well, especially when it goes wide, when you're trying to bring the balls inside the box. You will forever have that presence inside the box, and that's where you find Sibanyoni. That's where he's mostly deadly, but you're expecting this to see more of this from the Magesi side. When they're not in ball position, they're making sure that they disturb, they disrupt that rhythm that Mamelodi Sundowns is trying to create, just causing those small fouls just to disrupt them, and Mamelodi Sundowns needs to find solutions regarding that.
Yeah, they certainly do. Opportunity for this very changed side from Mamelodi Sundowns also to put a hand up. I mean, there's a couple of players, as you mentioned, that are injured from that first leg against Orlando Pirates in the MTN8. Ball hit away by Tsepo Makgoga. Pick up from Wonderboy Makubu. And it's always a wonder sometimes when you have a look at Magesi FC and you see them starting this strongly and you wonder, well, are they going to be able to sustain that for 90 minutes? Really has been pretty impressive so far. And in possession is Moso Lebuza. Back pass from Divine Lunga. Zimbabwean left-sided fullback that had a spell at Abafana Bestende. Lamont full golden arrows before being recalled to Mamelodi Sundowns. Not really a first-choice left-sided fullback, but a very competent one as well. Ball slides past Kekana. Nice little pick-up from Mapena, though. No way through there. Kekana working hard in the midfield after that early yellow card, but he settled down rather nicely, I think, Khomelemo. Important role to play in front of the back three for Mamelodi Sundowns. This man is the threat. Makubu. Oh, not clever, giving the ball away in that sort of situation as well. Slightly overrun by Mkledi Vandala. Match being played at an exceptionally high pace at the moment. Mkulise inside to Lebuza. Possession given away again, and Magesi, they're having opportunities and they're benefiting from still a little uneasiness in the Mamelodi Sundowns defence, and perhaps any sort of criticism. I mean, there's very little to criticise. I just think they should be testing Ronald Williams a bit better. Yeah,
they should be testing. I think they're hasty in terms of those chances that they get. They're trying to shoot, even though in areas where they can actually maybe exploit the spaces as well. But taking advantage of maybe the missed passes that Mamelodi Sundowns have at the back, and also that 1v1, that midfield is really, really frustrating Mamelodi Sundowns because they're unable to find those passages. But which means for Mamelodi Sundowns, then they need to rotate the ball a little bit quicker, find out wide areas where they can possibly exploit with 1v1 situations.
Kekana plays the ball short, and that's a foul from Lunga. Could be in trouble here from the referee. Hasn't at this stage gone to the pocket yet, but the diminutive Ntsidiso Mkhwanazi with a chat to the Zimbabwean fullback and a little smile on the face of the referee. Doesn't mean to say he's being lenient.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, he was late there, Lunga. The missed pass again in that midfield as well. I think that the pressing traps that Magesi has on Mamelodi Sundowns, they're really, really working for them. And if Mamelodi Sundowns are unable to find a little bit of patience in their play, rotate the ball, slow it down, knowing when to increase the tempo a little bit, they'll play in Magesi's hands, and Magesi will find those opportunities, play those balls a little bit quicker up front. With those two aggressive strikers, they will start benefiting from those chances.
Never afraid to take a chance when there's a chance to be taken. Mkledi Vandala over the wall, punched away by Ronald Williams. The flag's gone up anyway, and Williams has stayed down. I just wanted to say if the free kick was taken a bit quickly, but the element of surprise was quickly caught in its tracks. Have a look at this again.
Yeah, it was offside indeed. But nonetheless, look at the numbers as well, the bravery as well from Ronald Williams to be able to understand that they have been question marks in terms of that defensive line, but able to come out as well and make his presence felt. And when I was young, there used to be a goalkeeper that was Opara William for Orlando Pirates.
Oh, he's a remember well.
Nobody will challenge those type of balls because you come with starts like this. Not even his own players. When he says keeper, you need to move out of the way.
Just to let you know at home that Tepe Makgocha once again was the man who challenged Ronald Williams in that aerial battle, and he's not afraid to get stuck in, is he?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that little clip that Michael Morton posted about, and I remember him clearly. I think he played in one match for Maritzburg United, or could be 5-6 years ago, where he picked up the ball, waited for a defender to come close, he picked up the ball, and actually dived into the legs of the opponents. It was remarkable. I was commentating that game, and it was like I wondered how the referee left the soak on the pitch. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Remember that?
I remember that we actually played with him at Mamelodi Sundowns, and then he went on to play for Maritzburg United. He was a character, a very funny guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was a character.
say Michael Morton doing a great job with his new footballing video platform, and there's a nice little bit of skill shown here by Fawaz Bassadine. Not quite the link up as far as the pass was concerned, and Mabena arrives a little bit on the late side. Back it comes though with Fantala. Doesn't quite reach Sibonyani. And that's a really, really clever piece of defending from Divine Lunga. Got goal side of him, just shepherded him away from any danger. It's clever from the Zimbabwean.
Exactly, and it helps as well that Divine Lunga does have pace, does have aggression, so he helps in terms of that defensive line. Whenever they need speed or being exposed, that is Lebosa and Obers, Divine Lunga will be there to be able to give that cover.
There are some senior statesmen here for Mamelodi Sundowns tonight. Keanu Cupido there, Aubrey Modiba, Teboka Mokoena, who's played 4 times, Marcelo Lende with the blonde hair just hiding away in the background. And Tashik Matthews is there as well. So they do have cover if they need it. Some experienced campaigners ready to make themselves available. A little slip in the midfield. He nearly got away with it. I think he has got away with it, Mapena. Chipazeze made the right decision. I almost thought for a moment that the Zimbabwean goalkeeper was going to be caught in no man's land, but it worked out well for Chipazeze.
Yeah, it did. Letlaku there finding himself out wide, even though a little bit in the scriptiness, able to find the pass going forward. Letlaku bringing that ball with his right foot.
Wonderboy Makubu continues to ask questions.
Honestly, this is the game for Magesi, right? To play that one long ball, to have 2 big boys, one to flick, one to actually run forward. This is what you're going to see. This is the game plan from John Maduka, and you can see the trouble that they're causing Mamelodi Sundowns defense.
It appears to be the perfect combination, because Wonderboy Makubu is making the run. Sibanyoni is making himself big and tall, maybe about 5, 6, 7, 8 meters outside the Mamelodi Sundowns or the opposition penalty area. And Wonderboy Makubu goes past him. He manages to rise high enough, which is not difficult for him. He's a big fella. Is Sibanyoni, gets the flick on perfectly. And Sundowns really have to be switched on defensively. Divine Lunga looking for options, finds it in Moselebusa. Dozie Albas looking for an acceleration of pace, but most of the pace we've seen has come from Magesi FC, and a touch from Umkulise. Switch play out towards Bassadine. Now Khomelelo Kekana. Return ball to Kekana. It's good play here from Mamelodi Sundowns, and Peter Shalolile. Kekana's continued with his run as well. Some nice touches from Mamelodi Sundowns, but nobody able to quite get a shot away. Maybe they do now. No, they don't. Still Kekana. And Khomelelo making his full debut tonight. The 19-year-old is signed from TX Galaxy Juniors. Not the more experienced Grant Kekana. This is of the same surname, but a little bit further up the field.
Maybe a lot expected from the young men, knowing that there's a game as well. In that midfield was a lot of aggression. He needs to be able to play out quicker. But that's the quickest way to learn, to be in those type of areas, to be in the type of situation, to find solutions for yourself. And lately you can see this slowly gaining this confidence after the yellow card that we received early on into the game, pushing a little more forward, even though the pitch is a little bit bumpy, but find solutions and still be able to try and play the best way that you can.
Low flat corner punched away by Elvis Chipezeze. Possession still with Mamelodi Sundowns though. I can tell you that Orlando Pirates lead over Stellenbosch FC by 1-0. Would it surprise you that it was the same goal scorer that grabbed the equaliser against Mamelodi Sundowns in the Cup over the weekend? Man by the name of Sabili Bili from TX Galaxy, and really finding a space on that right-hand flank for Orlando Pirates. The only goal so far tonight out of 3 matches. Nothing between Amazulu and Marumo, nothing in this one. Pirates lead. That'll be a confidence booster should they hold on to that, because Pirates are without a point so far in the Betway Premiership, lying in the relegation zone along with Richards Bay FC. Mamelodi Mamelodi Sundowns, and it's taken them a little while. I mean, we're nearly half an hour into this encounter, but certainly Mamelodi Sundowns seem to have settled down, have gelled a little bit, have learned how to cover this rather vibrant Magesi side. It's not going to stop them chipping that sort of ball in towards Sibanyoni and company.
They won't stop that, indeed, Kevin. I think that's their game plan. Whenever Chipezeze has the ball, they'll try and push up as high as possible to be able to play those balls just behind the defensive line to make sure that Sibanyoni runs forward, Makubu runs forward, just to stretch that defensive line. And it becomes a problem because the pitch is so small. You can just kick the ball. Really, it's just on the Mamelodi Sundowns box. So defensively, they need to be very, very worried. They need to be able to cover each other very well, especially with those Sibanyoni flicks.
That's exactly what Miguel Cardoso was alluding to at the start of the encounter. That might be problematic as far as the size of the pitch is concerned. Looking at the Combox window, I can see that Marcelo Allende has started to go on a little bit of a warm-up, but he's not the only one. I think there's about 3 or 4 Sundowns players that have gone to warm-up, and not even at the half-hour mark yet. So Miguel Cardoso looking for something a little different maybe than what we've seen. But it's, you know, this encounter seems to be maybe a little bit more pacey than the Sekhukhune United Orbit College match in Dobsonville last night, but it's got a similar sort of look about it. Here's Sibanyoni. Will hold the ball up beautifully in front of Mose Lebusa. Now the ping here in towards Tledi Vandala. Nicely knocked away by Sundowns. Vandala controls beautifully. I must say, even though the match has been played at the pace that it is, the Magesi pass rate and the accuracy of the passing has been pretty impressive.
It is indeed. They understand the pitch a little bit better. They know that Mamelodi Sundowns have been to find the rhythm. They have stuck to the game plan this far, so they are benefiting from that. They're pinning Mamelodi Sundowns a little more back, playing those long balls. Mamelodi Sundowns haven't really found solutions for it. And with this type of fouls as well, they actually now loading, getting more numbers inside the box to be able to benefit from any set piece that they create.
Tledi Vandala plays it hard and flat. Knocked away by Mapena. Offside against Magesi, and they must be getting pretty close to 5 yellow cards. There's an injury here to the Mamelodi Sundowns, Kulise, and yeah, the coach certainly isn't happy with something that he saw maybe off the ball.
Yeah, with Magesi there, it's taking forever to come out of those lines. Ibrahim can see there that he's lunging there with that leg. Maybe because maybe the whistle is blown at the time, maybe that's why possibly he's not getting that yellow card as well. So it's really those type of situations where you don't know, even if the whistle is gone, because you're still on the pitch, would you be able to get punished from that, whether or not, or maybe the referee didn't really pick that one up.
Abraham's the guilty party on that occasion. This is Siyabonga Mapena. Knocks it a little wider, Botusi Albas. Just about gave possession away once again, but I tell you what, I think Mapena is imposing himself in that midfield for Mamelodi Sundowns. Having said that, here comes Tabang Sibanyoni again. Tries the back heel, can't get it past Lunga. Another Sundowns player who seems to have taken a knock in the face, and it's Siyabonga Mapena, the teenager who came through the Transnet School of Excellence. Yeah, I'm not sure with Vandala coming in behind. Let's have a look at this again. As he came in behind, I think his left arm, his momentum carried it forward, and at the same time, Mapena was going over. I don't think it's anything intentional. I think it was just a momentum left hook.
Momentum left hook.
It's a new term. I'm not sure Mapena would be very pleased.
Not at all.
But just to get back to that match yesterday between Sekhukhune United and Orbit College, the first about 35 minutes, almost to where we're going now, it was pretty even, and at one stage Sekhukhune United had about 72% of possession. There wasn't much coming back except on the counter-attack from Orbit College. and then all of a sudden there was a goal from Mube and the game changed around completely, and Sekhukhune won by 3-0. It's a very similar situation, but I think here Magesi are applying a little bit more pressure though than we saw Orbit College in the first half.
And also it's one of those games as well when, from a Magesi point of view, you've deployed the system and the strategy as well that's working so well, because you deny Mamelodi Sundowns from playing.
Abraham's dangerous character, lots of pace. Normally a good crosser of the ball, goes past Makubu, berates himself for a little over-enthusiasm, but he's a good player, Delano.
He is. He adds more numbers going forward, bringing nice crosses. You can see here he delayed a bit to make sure that there is enough numbers inside the box. He was let down by that cross, but he's been putting beautiful crosses that was troubling Mamelodi Sundowns in that defensive line.
Don't forget, this evening we have this Sibonise and win at a Betway activation, and we'll be looking around with our cameras to pick up the best dressed home supporter. It's got to be a home supporter and not a supporter from Mamelodi Sundowns. And at around about the hour mark, the 60-minute mark, we will then identify that spectator for you, the fan of Magesi FC. We'll show you the play. We'll identify, I beg your pardon, the fan. We'll identify the fan, and that fan will win 10,000 bucks. And if they are a card holder of Betway, that'll double. Imagine coming to a football match on a Wednesday night and going home with 20.
Exactly.
Well, there is a candidate. Not sure if that's the winner, but it certainly is a candidate. Play continues out on the field of play. Clearance being done by Tolang Masakela. Wonderboy Makubu. Oh, ball almost given away to Sipelele Mkhize. Makubu again, lovely flowing play here from John Makoni. Been with the club a long time now, John Makoni, and his namesake Lekhelana Makoni, who's on the bench tonight. Loved watching them during the campaign when they won the Motsepe Foundation Championship 2 seasons ago, and then also last year in their debut in the Betway Premiership. So a side that have participated successfully at all levels of football. ABC Motsepe League champions twice, Motsepe Foundation Championship champions, and also winners of the Carling Knockout in their debut season in the top flight of South African football. I wanted that Sepa Mokocha, who has taken a knock. He's been in the thick of things as much as on the attack as defensively. Very tough, rugged character. Played at Chikuma, Sekhukhune United, Venda Football Club, all here in the Limpopo province. Medical attention required. Zwanjili Buthelezi is there in support of what we think is his fellow centre-back, and Zwanjili Buthelezi, an interesting character, played many times off the bench during the Motsepe Foundation Championship campaign for Magesi FC. And even at the age of 33-year-old, the former Arrows and Polokwane City player, very competent coming in as a substitute late on in the match, but yeah, maybe a little knock in the jaw for the Magesi player, who will go off and receive some medical attention. So they will have to do a test for concussion. I saw the hands, looks a little bit shaky from the defender. So down to 10 for the moment, Magesi FC. 8 minutes of stoppage time away from half-time here in Seshego. Well, that is Makoko, who had that massive crash with Ronald Williams.
Yeah, and it was that first incident when he crashed with Ronald Williams with that free kick as well. That was early on into the game. Will that be possibly the effect of that happened early on into the game? We really don't know, but now he's been monitored by the doctors just outside the pitch.
Peter Shalolile having a chat to the match referee, and the match referee when you have a chat to Lekla Naholo Charlie. Goalkeeper Elvis Chipazeze in close proximity there as well, so I wonder what's going on here. into the office for both of those blokes, Charlie and Peter Shalulile. Meanwhile, while there's no open play, the clock will run away a little bit, but those minutes will be added on to the end. But it does give Makoko a little bit of extra time to perhaps recover, or is he going to recover? Because I see players stripping off in the colours of blue just to the left of our combox.
Now, whenever they do check for the concussion and it takes, more than 2 to 3 minutes, it's never really good sign, because normally players don't come back onto the pitch. And knowing as well, the player that is so aggressive playing that important position, you can just mention the knock that he went through. So you don't want to take risk as well. And also the doctors as well have been advised to really take precautions when it comes to that.
Makoko looks very uncomfortable indeed. There is a football match taking place, and forward comes Botusi Albahas. They love to play through the middle, Mamelodi Sundowns, and they're doing that quite adequately with Khomelelo Kekana. Little slider there from him, Kulise. And Wonderboy Makubu proving that he's not only an attacking player. Oh, that's a naughty foul from Basadine.
It's also very clever positioning from Vandala. Whenever the team is defending, he finds himself just slots into that inside right for the team. Whenever they win the ball, it's easy an outlet to receive that ball.
Looks very uncomfortable, Tepa Makoko. So we've just been speaking about Letlana Mokoni, and he is the player that's going to come on. 31-year-old Polokwane United player, and Letlana will join John Mokoni on the pitch and join Mzwandile Buthelezi in the centre of that Magesi defensive structure. Quite often Letlana and Mzwandile Buthelezi played in tandem in that centre of defence. I don't think it's a strange partnership, or partnership that's not familiar with each other. I think they'll do quite well.
Yeah.
Basadine with a throw-in. Ball away by Mosa Lebusa. Strong header from Makoni. Five minutes in stoppage time away from half-time in Seshego. Victory for Magesi tonight could take them as high as the 5th position on the table and above Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns looking for 3rd position with a 3-pointer, and they're first away from home as Makubu applies pressure once again. Not for the first time. Lunga has, we saw him earlier on covering Sibanyoni. Now he's got Makubu covered. He's really playing quite nicely. Is Divine Lunga.
He is as an aggressive player, very quick at the back. He will be required to do a lot of those recovery, using his speed, using his body very well, and also enjoys those type of battles as well.
Basadine. Mosa Lebusa. Kekana was closest to him. A little challenge there from Tabang Sibanyoni. With Mamelodi Sundowns with 64% of the first half possession. Really looking quite comfortable at the moment. The Orlando Pirates goal from Zabili Bili, still the only one on the night so far. Don't forget Amazulu against Marumo Gallants, and our commentary match this evening, or one of them anyway. Pirates with the only goal so far. Lady Vandala. Good piece of defending. It almost looks like Peter Shalulile. It is Peter Shalulile dropping back.
I guess for Mamelodi Sundowns and the challenges that they will be facing throughout the game is defending the set pieces that are going to come through from Magesi, and also the counter-attack that Magesi has whenever they win the ball, that quick transition, as to then how then you find solutions to those.
Deep corner this time, headed goalwards off the post. Well, they've hit the crossbar, they've hit the post, they've been denied off the line by Ronald Williams, Magesi FC. They've created the better chances for sure.
They have indeed, and by set pieces as well. That's Mokoni, the man that's just being introduced into the team, finds himself inside the box, a free header, making himself back and be able to connect with that ball. You can see that Ronald Williams, they didn't know anything about the ball. They have created better chances through third pieces.
Another chance that almost seems to be headed back by a Mamelodi Sundowns player.
I can see that in swing. It's always a problem, especially when it doesn't really go into Ronan Williams' areas for him to be able to go out and very collected. But he rose very well, Magesi, be able to have that clean contact that he had with the ball. It's unfortunate it didn't hit the back of the net.
Consecutive corners here for Magesi FC. Really enjoying the latter stage of the half. Miscue there by Mzwandile Buthelezi, and allows Mamelodi Sundowns a tad of clearance, and then the offside flag up here, and fans aren't directly behind the assistant referee. Our commentary box certainly is. And yeah, that was an offside.
It's very tight. I think he was onside there, but also maybe the official as well maybe was blindsided by the number of players that were coming back from an offside position from Magesi. But the person, that is Vandala, that was on the onside position, was so far away on the other side. Possibly the linesman on this side was unable to actually be able to spot that one.
Fans just certainly expressed their concern about that. Ball nicely won by Khomelelo. Peter Shalolile waiting. Got the greatest distribution from the Namibian international, and away comes Mqedi Vandala. Sibanyoni denied once again by Divine Lunga. Khomelelo picked up an early yellow card. It was so early, I don't think it was even in the first 5 minutes. Picked up a yellow card, but I tell you, since then, the 19-year-old has been phenomenal in the midfield. Mqedi Vandala backs himself with the acceleration. Lunga backed himself as well. He's enjoying his football. Lovely to see a player with a smile on his face.
3 minutes additional time. 3 minutes additional time.
Good cover as well from Lunga, again being the person that also comes back again to be able to make that cover. But you can see Vandala wanted to cut in, realizing there's enough numbers, he's going to run into traffic, so let rather go outside, but rather than going into traffic. But then again, Lunga making sure that he forces him out of the play without bringing that cross that is being devastating for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Reverend Kunazi has added 3 minutes to the end of the first half. And we are 45 seconds into first half stoppage time. This is Divine Lunga. Magesi certainly have had the better of the opportunities. Teko, crossbar, off the post, saves made by Ronan Williams, and yeah, this is what we expect. This is what we've seen from Magesi in the past, and so it shouldn't come as any great surprise.
But indeed, we spoke about it a little bit earlier on as to then how then they should, you know, make sure that teams don't want to come here and play. They need to make sure that they travel, they give teams hassle and problems into their pitch, because that's how you also survive. You get into the top 8, making sure that you use your home ground advantage. And this far, they've been doing very well, frustrating Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, wanting to, I'm not sure if you ever played at the Independence Stadium in Umtata, where Umtata Bucks played, but that was a slaughterhouse, and they're hoping to make this a slaughterhouse.
Yeah. But I can just imagine the frustration from a Mamelodi Sundowns point of view, because you're a footballing team, you want to play the ball on the ground, and yet again you've got this high press, high energy team that is forever on your face. And come end of the season, those are the games that you remember. If you do win the league, you're like, those are the games that really teaches you then to play under pressure. Not just, you're not against just an opponent, but also against the pitch as well, because it's bumpy, and those are type of games that the young Mabenas, the Homole Mokekanas, are going to learn from them.
Away comes Mabena, not quite able to slide himself through between two defenders. Good header from Divine Lunga. Time running out in the first half. There's only about 30 seconds remaining until we have half-time in Seshego. Once again, we thank you for your patronage tonight on your World of Champions. Miguel Cardoso happy with the defending. Vandala, Delano Abrahams, still Delano Abrahams, and I think they just got mixed up with each other. there's a foul in any event from Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a good position for a free kick. The way that Magesi pinged the ball into the opposition penalty area, it's like they play with no fear.
They don't play with any fear, and they can see a late from Lunga referee being able to spot that, and possibly maybe with that leg. And Magesi trying to benefit as well from this throw-in, set pieces, getting closer to the box, trying to make sure that because just piling that pressure that they've been piling since the first minute in terms of those set pieces, that they know and they've realized as well that Mamelodi Sundowns, they haven't found a solution in terms of defending those.
No, they haven't. Referee's played 40 seconds more than what he added on initially, and he's given enough time for the free kick to take place. And it's going to be John McConey, the left-sided fullback, who has decided to take over from Magesi Vandala as far as duty is concerned. And I wonder if he's not trying to curl this into the near post. I think that was the intention. And the final intent from Magesi FC proves to be as strong as what we've seen over the match so far, even though it didn't breach Mamelodi Sundowns' defence. But Mamelodi Sundowns are really experiencing a tough opponent here tonight. CFC have come out to play, and there's no doubt that we're going to see this continue during the course of the second 45 minutes. But CFC with Sibanyoni mostly and Wonderboy Makubuga, but Magesi Vandala on the near side. Mamelodi Sundowns have been really put through their paces tonight. However, Magesi and Sundowns are level at 0-0. It's half-time. the Sesheko Stadium. We are in the Limpopo province tonight for round 3 of the Betway Premiership. Magesi FC hosting Mamelodi Sundowns, and a fair amount of success during the course of the first half for Magesi FC. Hitting the crossbars, hitting the far side upright, and forcing Ronald Williams into making a couple of saves and then taking a couple of knocks as well. One of them from Tepa Makgoka, who since left the field of play with what looks like a concussion. His place taken by Leflanaholo Makoni, who will partner Swandile Buthelezi for the second half. Good to see how many supporters have come in from Mamelodi Sundowns here. The Blue Nation hosting this encounter here in Sesheko. There were talks that potentially the match would take place at the new Peter Makaba Stadium, but not so. We are here in Sesheko, where Magesi FC are hoping to make this a slaughterhouse.
Substitution for Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half.
Chapelo Maseko, 22-year-old former SuperSport United left winger, comes in for the man who's played rather nicely in the match so far, Gomalelo Kekana, but he did pick up a yellow card. So just the one change made then, and coach Miguel Cardoso rolls the dice as far as the introduction of Maseko is concerned. We're underway for the second 45 minutes. Mamelodi Sundowns attacking the goal to the right-hand side of your screen in the second half, playing in the yellow and white. The all blue of Magesi will play from right to left during the second 45 minutes. 0-0 at half-time. Magesi perhaps with the best of the opportunities, but Mamelodi Sundowns needing to settle down, because Magesi Tekamotisa proved to be a little bit of a handful. Can they play like that for 90 minutes? That's the question.
I think that's the biggest question, and I'm sure Coach Maduka will really like to see his players continue with that immense pressure that they put Mamelodi Sundowns in the first half, especially by those set pieces.
Set pieces were really an issue. Ball driven in here by John Makoni, the left-sided fullback, 26 years old. So just the one change made. John Maduka not doing any fiddling with the starting lineup. This is Delano Abrahams. Very swift, very involved all of the time. Loves to get over the halfway line, does Delano. Has a lot of pace about him. How about the long throw-in? Looking for the near post flick on. Gets it as well. Chance to clear, and the first touch for Chapelo Maseko is the defensive one for Mamelodi Sundowns. Very, very clustered midfield here between these two sides. Wonderboy Mukubu's touch. Away again by Maseko. Sibanyoni. Lunga again does a tidy-up job. He has been a standout defensively for Mamelodi Sundowns today. There's a bob in, and maybe a follow-through with his boot has caught the Magesi striker, who's on his knees.
I think it's just the ball that Lunga was trying to clear. Maybe that struck Sibanyoni maybe on the ribs. They just froze it a little bit, and I guess it continues as well, that battle that we've seen in the first half, where Lunga has been the one that's marshalling those two, that is Sibanyoni and Makubu, at that back, making sure that his strength and his aggression as well, able to match those two big boys for Magesi up front.
Nice to see that Taban Sibanyoni had a big broad smile on his face when he picked himself up. It really is a lovely evening for football. It's no wind to speak of whatsoever, and the pitch, albeit a little on the small side, almost a la Bidvest Stadium at the campus of the University of the Witwatersrand, and lovely crowd support for both Magesi and Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah, but that pitch, as small as it was, but from the surface point of view, it was playable. So it was a pitch also that you know that the crowd is going to be here, the long throws. You know, Tyson will be having those long throws, those long balls inside the box. You'll be able to defend much of the game, but when you are in possession of the ball, you're able to play a little bit because it was giving you that width. And with the Sheikh Stadium, you can see it's a little bit bouncy, doesn't allow both teams to be able to play the type of football that they want to play. But Magesi is benefiting because they want to be very productive, getting into Mamelodi Sundowns as quickly as possible.
Divine Lunga under pressure from Wonderboy Makubu. Makubu just shakes off the Zimbabwean for the moment. More cover drops back in the form of Bassadine. Persistent man, Wonderboy Makubu. Easy save for Ronald Williams, who makes his first intervention of the second half. I tell you what, the start of the first half was a rather torrid one for Ronald Williams, having to clear off the line with his feet and then saved off Tabang Sibanyoni's glancing head as he got behind Peter Shalulile. But national team goalkeeper, all of 33 years old now, former SuperSport United man, one of many SuperSport United players, former players playing at Mamelodi Sundowns. If you look at Aubrey Modiba, you look at Tebogo Mokoena and Tapelo Maseko came on as a sub. Now an opportunity here for the ball to be pinged into the area, which is nicely done as well by Batusi Albas. Furthest we've seen Albas push forward. Maybe there's a different role for Albas to play as the match continues. Oh, a little bit of a swing and a miss from Bassadine. No Kekana to pick up the pieces in the middle of the park, and looks like Letlaku has almost dropped back into much more of a midfield position instead of a striking role behind Shalulile. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Batusi Albas is playing so much further forward. The quality of his crosses could come into play because he's used to playing in the midfield, is Batusi Albas. Not a bad ball from him. Lovely control here from Maseko. And suddenly there's a threat at the goal of Chipesese. Not quite with the ball in front of him. Batusi Albas had to almost search for the ball underneath his direct pendulum.
Yeah, the ball just came just behind it, but good aggression rather from Maseko. That's the speed that the Mamelodi Sundowns didn't have in the first half. You can see again with the second time around, you can see Batusi Albas, they're struggling with that first touch as well.
Big foul on Maseko from Tolang Matehela, and a huge protest off the bench of Mamelodi Sundowns as well. Referee besieged by Lebusa Albas and company. I'm sure he's got everything under control. Mr. Tizisa Mkhonazi is doing everything that he can. The first point of call that he's got to do is the safety and well-being of the player. What actually takes after that is dependent on his interpretation of the challenge from Tolan Masakela.
I can see here a little bit of start showing up. Not even a little bit of start showing up there. I don't think there was a full contact rather to Maseko, but you can see the start showing up there, and Maseko possibly maybe got a little bit of a grace from those starts. And then the referee felt that it was a bookable offence.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. I think anything more extreme than that would have been excessive from referee Mkhonazi. And potentially it looked more dangerous than it turned out to be at the end of the day. And maybe just the Mamelodi Sundowns newcomer, Mr. Tapelo Maseko, on debut tonight. He hasn't played this season yet, but maybe just caught it more on the arm rather than fully in the chest. But it didn't look pretty, to be honest. Still no goals in this encounter, and the only goal that we've heard about so far this evening came from Sipili Pili at Orlando Pirates. 40th goal of the season. Ball swept into the area. Mamelodi Sundowns will have a corner from that Fawaz Bassadine set piece. Sundowns looking almost as assertive as Magesi looks in the first half. Yeah,
because for those possibly a little bit of changes, especially in that midfield, where Mamelodi Sundowns, we know they thrive with space and time on the ball, with Adams dropping ball more a little bit back, with Mkhulisi in that midfield, finding a little bit of clarity and balance in that, and then pushing Lehlaku just in front of them, allowing Maseko out wide. Maybe that's the reason.
Basadini into the middle. Oh, so close. You'll see it from behind the goal, and maybe it's not as close from Adams as we thought it was, but it was a very, very good header.
Yeah, man, and it's always surprising that Jaden Adams, as short as he is, he always finds space in that box. And expecting Magesi with so many big boys inside the box to be able to defend the ball a little more better, but Jaden Adams unfortunately couldn't hit the target. And I think he scored in Mamelodi Sundowns colours through a header as well in one of his games that he played, especially after arriving in Mamelodi Sundowns. So that really, really adds on into his game. Not just a good pass, but whenever he's in the ball, actually, and really as well, can add numbers.
Yeah, the level of disappointment on his face and his reaction to missing the header shows, from that point of view, how close it might have been. Divine Lunga with a header. And all of a sudden, Magesi are feeling a little bit rushed by the look of things. Clearance from Ronald Williams. Ball takes a little bit of an awkward bounce for Mamelodi Sundowns. And, yeah, it didn't look like a comfortable intervention from Batusi Albas, who might have twisted his ankle. No damage done with the return, though, from Khomotso Mosadi. You'll remember Khomotso Mosadi from the University of Pretoria Tuks. He was at Sekhukhune United, but at Tuks where he made a lot of impact in a striking role, Khomotso Mosadi. But Batusi Albas seemed just to twist his ankle a little bit, trying to keep that errant goal kick from Ronald Williams in play. 10 minutes into the second half, and while Magesi piled on all the pressure during the first half, it's Mamelodi Sundowns are looking to return the favour here in the second. And they have had a couple of chances of the defending league champions. You know, a question at the end of, or the beginning of every season over the last almost decade, Tekamadise, is who is going to stop the yellow train from racking up another championship? A bit early to tell, I suppose, at the moment, being in only having 4 points from 2 matches. But, yeah, you know, it's 30 matches in a season in the Premier League.
Yeah, but I can tell you that. But I can tell you one thing, though, that I'm sure Kaizer Chiefs fans have a say into that, especially how they started. It started very, very brilliantly so. And, you know, of course, there will be hopes that they really continue with that.
Didn't quite get the run he was looking for to Peter Shalolile, was Lehlaku. And now the run of the ball from Wanibo Makubu, and Lebuso had to be very watchful indeed. There's been a collision in midfield here with the Divine Lunga, the Mamelodi Sundowns player, who's taken a knock to the head. It looks like a head injury to the Magesi player too. Maybe both ball watching potentially. This is not good news for Miguel Cardoso, because Divine Lunga really has been on top form, and I think it's Sibanye who's injured.
You can always expect those type of battles with Sibanye trying to flick and Divine Lunga trying to make sure that he clears that ball. So especially with the type of game that Magesi has, those are collisions that you might see during the game, because it's always going to be the area battle. As a defender, you want to go first, you want to win the balls. As a striker, you always want to be the one, especially with the combination that they have, when knowing that Sibanye will flick those balls, where Makubu will be making those runs just behind him. And I'm sure that Divine Lunga, Coach Cardoso, wouldn't want to lose such a player, especially with his aggression, with his speed as well.
Mamelodi Sundowns have made one change so far. Khomolemo Kekana making way for Chapela Maseko. And they only have one central defender in the starting lineup, and that's a very competent former Bidvest, and then he went to France and played with the Ajaccio, and came back and played for Cape Town City. Keanu Cupido, who's played 4 times already this season, and 3 of them in the starting lineup. But he is the most likely potential substitute, although there is Aubrey Madiba, who's a left-sided fullback, and Tapela Moreno, who's right-footed. So maybe we'll see Aubrey Madiba. Or a couple of potential substitutions. I see that Tashrik Matthews, the left winger, is stripping down. And yeah, I'm quite a fan of Tashik Matthews. He's all of 24 years old. I thought he was a bit younger than that. Played in Sweden for a while, but I tell you what, he's hit the scene in South Africa and he's really turning some heads.
He does indeed, and I guess also the challenge for me that I'll pose to Tashik is making sure that he gets opportunities inside the game. He finds himself in time and he gives a different dimension that Mamelodi Sundowns players, because he's a willing runner just behind the opposition's defense. But the chances, he needs to start bearing those chances that he creates, because that will increase the numbers of the goal scoring form that he's in.
Intervention from Tupela Maseko. Little chase back for Mosa Lepusa. I don't think Williams wanted that ball so close to Wonderboy Makubu, but he dealt with it comfortably, did the national team goalkeeper. Maseko onside! His first touch might have been too strong. Maseko barrels into Chipazeze. Very, very brave goalkeeping from the Zimbabwean. Tell you what, a slightly softer touch from Maseko, he was away. Look at this touch here.
A great, brilliant touch, a brilliant ball being played by Lehlakwa. I guess that first touch really didn't set him very nicely, because you can see he's drifting away to his right hand side a little bit, but very, very brave from Chipazeze to be able to spot that Maseko wasn't in reach with his ball, and also Mukoni as well, making sure that Maseko doesn't get really that free chance to be facing Chipazeze 1v1, but very, very brave work there from Chipazeze to make himself big and to come out and be able to collect that ball.
Signal to the assistant referee from the referee, Mr. Tidiso Mkwenazi. Man in the picture is Tupela Morena, 32-year-old right back, formerly from Bloemfontein Celtic, and it looks like a triple substitution for Miguel Cardoso, who is also warming up Marcelo Allende, the 26-year-old Chilean attacking midfielder, and also Tashik Matthews, the left winger that we've been talking about. In the meantime, we have today's winner of the competition, and $20,000. So they're a member of Betway's betting situation, and that is absolutely fantastic. Mantikana Maraka is the winner, and she has an account with Betway. So what was $10,000 is now 20
bucks.
And I'm not sure if she knows about it yet, but I'll tell you what, she'll do an interview with Lerato afterwards and be presented with a check, and I'll tell you what, there's going to be some smiles around Seshego tonight.
I'm sure the family members at home now, they're starting to call her, making sure that
sending bank details already. Yeah, there'll be lots of Makazans and all sorts of people crawling out the woodwork, won't there? But that's the beauty of it, I suppose. And there's no hiding away. Live on television.
So there's no way tomorrow you can say, I don't have money.
It wasn't me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
triple substitution for Mamelodi Sundowns.
For Mamelodi Sundowns,
Matthews, Morena.
Number 11, Allende comes in. Just number 17, Matthews comes in. Just
number Mapena is going to make way.
Comes in. Replacing is number 15.
We've also got Botucci Albas, who had that little strain a few moments ago. He's also making way.
Just number 21. Also coming out.
And then Sipilele Mkhize also going to come out. So a little bit more, by the look of things, of attacking options for Mamelodi Sundowns. Give us your thoughts on that one, Teko.
I think with Tupela Morena is naturally who will play as a right full back, trying to find that balance. Maybe go back to your natural four at the back. And then with Allende bringing that fluidity into the game, slowing the pace down, be able to string those little bit of passes, knowing that Mkhize hasn't played in a while. So Allende will bring that sort of calmness into that midfield, which is something that they need. And Tashik will also give that depth going forward, possibly with getting those balls just beyond that defensive line that Magesi. Also on the right hand side where Maseko is, he'll be looking to have that speed going forward.
What is interesting is that Divine Lunga has retained his position in defence. In the meantime, there's an opportunity for Khaboto Mosadi, kept at bay quite comfortably by Mamelodi Sundowns, who look very much comfortable on the ball, very much a championship side, and very much, I won't say completely in control of this one, as Delano Abrahams overcooks the ball past Bassadine. But Mamelodi Sundowns have come into this second half, and they are the side that's in control.
They are the side that are in control indeed, and you can see also with the number of changes, the personnel that are bringing into the team, it is a game that, you know, you want to be sure at the back that you're solid, you're well balanced, and also in the midfield, just to get control of the game, to get back into game, and to get that maximum points that you need. That's why the inclusion of Allende now in that midfield, Maseko with the pace, the experience as well of Moreno on the right-hand side, and Tashik as well, possibly giving that depth that they need going forward, its speed in creation of goals, because Peter Shalili has been isolated, hasn't been really getting balls where he's caused so much stress for the centre-back playing, that is Buteles and Mukon.
Yeah, he's usually so adept at just ghosting into spaces, is Peter Shalolile. We're not really seeing that at the moment. Can tell you that Amazulu lead over Marumo Gallants by 1-0, and Keegan Allen is the player who's scored the goal for Amazulu. I'm sure it's his second goal of the season. The man who signed from Richards Bay FC. In the meantime, Khotatso Mariba has come on for Magesi FC in the place of Fledi Vandala. Khotatso Mariba had started both against Polokwane City and against Stellenbosch FC. Makes his first appearance as a sub in the current Betway Premiership season for Magesi FC. 25-year-old former Sekhukhune United player, played at Venda Football Club as well, up in Toyondo. Good little flick on from Peter Shalolile. Can't really find the continuity on that left-hand side with Matthews and company. Mamelodi Sundowns, they'll still have a throw-in. Divine Lunga to Lebusa. First touch for Tapela Morena. Lebusa to Ronald Williams, and Magesi don't seem to be chasing as vociferously as they were during the course of the first half. They really haven't given up movement all over the pitch here in Seshego. 20 minutes played in the second half. Mamelodi Sundowns 0, Magesi 0. The only match that hasn't provided a goal yet. Appeals for Sundowns, and that was a foul from Wonderboy Makubu, but a first touch for Khotatso Moriba. Delano Abrahams fortunate maybe to retain possession. Quick with the ball at his feet, and Divine Lunga once again provides the intervention. Oh, it's a lovely pass from him as well. Kept the ball in play nicely. This is Allende. Lovely control from Maseko, and a foul committed, not for the first time, on the substitute. He's pretty nippy off the mark, isn't he, Maseko?
He is. I mean, even when he was brought into Mamelodi Sundowns, he's been that type of a player with being able to play in tight spaces and dribble 1v1. And it's just that it's unfortunate with injuries, and also maybe, you know, the confidence level hasn't been that up, but you can see here causing problems ever since he brought it in. It gives a different dimension that Mamelodi Sundowns didn't have in the first half.
Yeah, double nibble at his ankles by John McConey. 14 fouls over the course of the night, 38 tackles made. Lunga tidies up. 64% possession in the second half for the defending league champions. Still 0-0. No victories on the road so far for Mamelodi Sundowns this season. They have won by 2-0 against Amazulu at home with Reyners and Matthews. One at home, 4-0 against Richards Bay FC in the opening round of the MTN 8 with Reyners brace, Klineka own goal, and Mabena who scored a goal. But 2 draws, both of them 1-1 on the road. Yeah, you've got to do better than that to beat Chipazeze. Although the intention and the quality of the intention is better, Chipazeze has fallen over. Hamstring, potentially. Or is it to break the rhythm of the opponent? Goalkeepers are allowed to do this sort of thing. I won't say allowed, I'm big inverted commas there.
Yeah. I guess also there's nothing that the referees can do. Yes, maybe there is an incident of where he's busy, maybe struggling with that hamstring. But whenever the goalkeepers go down, they know that they can't be stressed out. They know that the game can continue playing.
Certainly did look as if he felt a tweak.
Yeah.
To give him the benefit of the doubt, I think, on this one. The pitch is a little bit slippery. I want to go back to the slipperiness of the pitch and the double nibble at the back of Tapela Maseko from John Makoni on the near side here. And the first touch, the ball came across the pitch on a diagonal and it slid off the pitch with such a lot of pace. Maseko's first touch was exquisite.
It was indeed, and it was a pass that came from my end. And I think also the struggle that Mamelodi Sundowns had in the first half, the passes were too direct, and the pressing chaps that Magesi had, it was easy to intercept those passes. You can look at that pass that Ayende made to Maseko. He used the laces so that the ball can travel a little bit faster, and the first touch is good from Maseko. But you want him to actually regain those positions high up the pitch, and this was the first incident that happened with that little bit of throw-in that happened earlier on with Sibanyoni, causing so much problems. You look at the number of Mamelodi Sundowns around the box, they weren't able to deal with this type of set pieces, those type of crosses. And I'm sure in halftime, Magesi would have felt that we could have been 1 or 2 up, especially with the chances that are created.
Now there's the Makoni header against the upright. And all that Ronald Williams could do was look on. So there have been a couple of close shaves as far as the defending league champions are concerned. The discussion amongst the Brains Trust of Magesi FC with the coach John Maduka closest to us. Jackie Ledwaba on the bench and Abraham Mateo. Remember Abraham Mateo from Bloemfontein Celtic?
Yeah.
What a fine player he was.
He was a fine midfielder. Good pass off the ball.
Substitution, ladies and gentlemen, for Mamelodi Sundowns football club. Jersey number 35 is coming in. Number 1, Mutiba, replacing jersey number 43, Kukwano. Substitution for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Lema Matiba, based in France between 2014 and 2022 with various clubs, and came back to South Africa without a club, signed by Mamelodi Sundowns. That comes on as a striker here in the place of Kukwano Letlaku. I'm not sure whether the teenager really found his place here in this Mamelodi structure tonight. I have seen him playing in the previous season in a couple of games where I thought he was fairly decent as far as potential is concerned. But Lema Matiba getting an opportunity. And an opportunity here as well for John Makoni. Way by Ayende. Maseko. It's a good ball from Maseko as well, and first touch for Matiba. He's been dragged all over the park here by Makoni, the centre-back. Offside flags up against Sibanyoni.
Yeah, with the Lema Matiba on the pitch, Mamelodi Sundowns looking to have some sort of presence in Magesi's box. This is the line. I guess maybe the angle doesn't give us that clear view as well, but it was an offside indeed from Sibanyoni, looking to play those balls just behind that high line that Mamelodi Sundowns are having at the back.
Divine Lunga, maybe not as busy during the second half as he was during the first, where he did awfully well to keep out Sibanyoni and Vandala as well as Wonderboy Makubu. Chipuzeze makes another save, but he's it's intriguing to see the contrast between the first half and the second half, and some people talk about a game of two halves, and if you are my friend Richard Parker, a well-renowned and respected director, he'll tell you that every match has two halves, but I'm sure you know what we mean at home. So I use a match of contrasting halves. I think that's okay. Peter Shalolile, space at the back post for Basadine.
It was a good cross indeed. Basadine, we've known him for having that deadly left foot of his, having time and space inside the box. He chose to hit that with the volley. But now, all of a sudden, with the inclusion of Matiba, now you see Peter Shalolile making those movements, because maybe the worry is if I do make those type of movements, the ball inside the box, there's no one to actually maybe try and attack the box down. That maybe with the inclusion of Matiba will give him that sort of confidence to make those runs that he normally makes, and that freedom as well to make those type of runs.
fifth corner kick of the match for Mamelodi Sundowns. They've had the only 2 corners of the second half so far. Delivery in towards Divine Lunga. And there's a shot that's blocked on the line. Still yellow jerseys provided. Abrahams can't keep it out. Sundowns score. Difficult to know. We've got to touch on that one. And with all the cluster of players there, it's difficult. But Chipisese is beaten in the 73rd minute.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they all count as scrappy as it was from a set piece. Magesi unable to clear the lines. So many numbers with an outswing from a corner kick. Also with the threat as well that Lemutiba has inside the box, that brings a little bit of a worry. This man here finding the last touch on the further side of the pitch. Look at that ball being played in by Basadine. Magesi as well. That ball falls to for Mamelodi Sundowns player. Look at Jaden Adams putting his body. Yeah, putting his body in the line. Getting that touch. But unfortunately, Abrahams couldn't clear the ball.
1 Sundowns, 0 the Blue Nation. The score was already settled.
Jaden Adams scores his first goal of the new campaign. Mamelodi Sundowns found the net for the 9th time this season and an opportunity to win away from home for the first time. And for Magesi FC to concede just for the 2nd time this season and to suffer a loss for the first time this season as well. However, still 15 minutes in stoppage time remaining, and do we see now resurgence of the play that we saw from Magesi in the first 45 minutes? Because for me, they've just sagged as far as their performance is concerned, and maybe that amount of effort they put into the first half has now set them back a little bit.
But also the advantage that Magesi had in the first half, he had 10 changes of 10 new players that have never really played together many games in an official match. So you tend to put a little bit of pressure, a little bit of aggression, you win the balls, you're creating chances. Unfortunately, you couldn't hit one in the back of the net. Now, in the second half, Mamelodi Sundowns made those type of changes that understand the system, understand the fluidity of the play. Then it brings a little bit different dimension. Now they're more comfortable on the ball, and then you might find problems, especially with your Lender, your Jaden Adams in that midfield.
We do have goals in every match in the Betway Premiership tonight on a Wednesday. Last I saw, AmaZulu were leading Marumo Gallants by 1-0. Pirates are leading over Stellies by the same scoreline, and now Sundowns, the only team playing away from home that have taken the lead. Showing intent to maybe get even further onto the scoreboard here. Jaden Adams, first league goal this season. Yeah, the scores still remain as they were moments ago when Mamelodi Sundowns scored. AmaZulu over Marumo Gallants, which will take AmaZulu from their 10th position up into 6 points. For Orlando Pirates, it'll give them their first 3-pointer of the season. And for Mamelodi Sundowns, they'll go to 7 points. And 3rd on the table, left Durban City behind Sekhukhune United and Amakhosi. Both with a perfect start to the season. Sekhukhune United and Kaizer Chiefs. Eric Tinkler's side scoring 5 times and 3 clean sheets. Kaizer Chiefs scoring 4 times and keeping 3 clean sheets. Impressive stuff. It's about the continuity, though. Ronwen Williams knows that there has to be consolidation. They have to continue with the game plan. As Pointers now sitting back and trying to control possession of the ball. I think they've got to continue with their normal route as Shalulile tries to come forward away by Mzondile Buthelezi. Shalulile on the run, looking for a second ball. Nicely cleared by Lekhala Makoni. Header from Musadi, going in the wrong direction. This is John Makoni. And That midfield pressure has cost Magesi a lot of ground.
Yeah, you can see that with just a little bit of pressure from Mamelodi Sundowns, Magesi are unable to come out of their blocks. They're just hoofing the ball forwards. They're not playing with the structure that they had in the first half. And I guess also the goal just changes the whole dimension of the game, the feel of the game. They now feeling the pressure with all the presence of Mamelodi Sundowns substitution making a difference.
Yeah, certainly. This is Tapela Morena. Runs out of grounder section. He's stolen a bit of ground unnecessarily there. As little Muchali, the referee drags him back though. John McConey will eventually take the throw in. Oh, again, big challenge in the middle of the park here. The referee over. There's hands raised here. And a little bit of a push and shove on the back of him, Charlie. And unwanted attention from Mamelodi Sundowns in the midfield, and rescued by a Mamelodi Sundowns player. And even Divine Lunga getting involved unnecessarily. Yeah, it's a passionate game, and it's good to see players wearing their arms on their sleeve. However, with a challenge of this sort of nature, victim was Tashrik Matthews.
Yeah, those are challenges normally they get punished for, because you can see the lunge of Muchali. Yep.
Well, second yellow card to Muchali, and he has to take the walk down the tunnel. Referee showing the yellow card on 2 occasions. And Magesi not only trail by 1-0, but they also reduce to 10 men. And Charlie trying to claim somewhat of his innocence. There's Steve Compella showing some empathy. Lovely guy, Steve Compella. Known him for years.
He is indeed, but also if you look at that incident as well, you're looking at whether there was a danger or not. For Charlie, there was no danger, and I think also that's the ball that he could have really avoided getting that card. Now costing the team is then, having to have few players on the pitch. This is the first yellow card that he encountered during the game when he fouled Adams earlier on. And now knowing as a midfielder that it's required for you to be aggressive in that midfield, you need to counter challenge, you need to look at the ball, and the incident there cost him the second yellow card, which results into a red card.
So 2 cards in quick succession for Magesi FC, and as we said, he's just about got himself in trouble. Now John Maduka is animated here. Referee Mkwanazi trying to slow things down a little bit, and maybe John Maduka feels himself a little hard done by. Steve Compella voicing his opinion as well. Normally far more diplomatic, Mr. Compella. He's as eloquent in the training ground as he is during interviews, because in the interviews he'll bring out the thesaurus, the encyclopedia and the dictionary all in one sort of fell swoop, and absolutely woo you with his knowledge of linguistics.
That's the Compella for you.
Ball not kept in play by Peter. Surely you have to back Mamelodi Sundowns from this sort of situation, unless Magesi are going to throw everything and the kitchen sink into the mix here in the dying stages. I think they are going to look to make another couple of changes here on the home side. Just 1 goal they've scored so far in the season, and that was scored by Mossadi against Stellenbosch FC here in a 1-1 draw. Lebo Motiba looks it back past Bassadine. Ronald Williams won't be hustled or harried in any way whatsoever. It does look as if we might have a double change from Magesi FC as well at some stage. This is Tapela Morena. Substitute right-sided fullback. Good shielding of the ball by Lebo Motiba. He's got a nice physical stature about him.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's quite lean, but he's not skinny. So he's got a nice beefiness about him.
Yeah, and because he's one of his characteristics and his strengths about his game is always able to protect that ball. So he becomes the point of reference whenever there is pressure. You can have players around him. Lots of concentration there from Lunga, but with Lebo, what he brings is that, and then it would allow people to make those second move, third move runs just behind him.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Magesi Football Club, jersey number 63 is coming in. Magesi Zungu, replacing jersey number 50. Jersey number 6 is coming in.
Then making way for Magesi Zungu.
Replacing jersey number 37.
And looks like Samuel Toppo, the Ghanaian 27-year-old, used to play at Amazulu and then Venda Football Club, is going to come on to hold the midfield. In the meantime, Mamelodi Sundowns will in control. The lead by a goal to nil. They're playing against a 10-player opposition on the brink of their first victory away from home this season and a place in the top 3 on the Betway Premiership League table. All control from Mamelodi Sundowns. The ball behind the halfway line. No flurry, no anguish, no threat from Magesi, who just seemed to be playing a watching defensive brief, and only Wonderboy Makubu really over the halfway line or close to it in proximity to Musa Lebusa. Divine Lunga. Basadine, Yende. Time ticking away from Magesi. Magesi's next match will be next Wednesday away against Abafana Bestende and Mankoba Nguji. Pullback doesn't quite work out for Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns will be in action on Saturday, 1500 Central African time at Lucas Masterpieces Muribe Stadium in the MTN8 semi-final second leg. And I'm sure Chika Medise will be there to entertain you through that 90 minutes or more, maybe. 1-1 the aggregate scoreline at the moment. Who knows what's going to happen on Saturday?
Who knows what's going to happen on Sunday? Another sold-out affair.
Don't forget Mamelodi Sundowns winning tonight at the same time. Orlando Pirates winning tonight. So that's honest even as well as far as that is concerned. And yeah, the other semi-final, by the way, between Sekhukhune United and Stellenbosch FC at the new Peter Mokaba Stadium. Musadi trying to make ground. Lebusa clears. And while there's set pieces, there's hope. And while there's time on the clock, there is an opportunity.
And these are areas, sorry, Rocky, these are areas as well that Magesi was causing so many problems in the first half. So now with the inclusion of Lebo as well, maybe that might help Ariel to be able to defend.
Zungu with his first intervention. The ball skims across that penalty area. Yende will clear. Nobody from Sundowns over the halfway line. I just love the silky skills of the Chilean 26-year-old. Coming off the bench for the first time in the whole season. Himself, the Boko Mokoena, all with 4 starts, but on the bench tonight, both of those players, and some players left out of the lineup. Sales, no Reyners, no Kekana, well, not Grant anyway. But still an opportunity for Peter Shalolile. Shalolile scores! And that'll about do that, Mr. Chika Medise, and that brings him to within 1. You've got a statistic on that. I'm not stealing your thunder. You go for it. Peter Shalolile. Yeah, he's a legend, isn't he? Love his humility. Love the way he involves himself in the game of football. Love the way he gets into positions. Love the way he scores a goal.
Indeed. And this is the man. There was a lot of talks surrounding him, whether his departure, whether he's staying or not. And being able to come back into the team, starting today. First half, very isolated. Second half, with Mutiba's inclusion in the team, we spoke about the runs that he was unable to do in the first half. And in the second half, making those runs. Beautiful counter-attack from Mamelodi Sundowns. Good first touch either as well. Good interception as well. Look at the numbers as well. Look at him. He's initiating that touch as well. Keeps his run. Very, very good, clever play there from Matthews. Outside the box with his wicker foot. That's Peter Shalulile.
Absolutely superb strike from the Namibian. Just look at his skill and the turn, the hesitation and the perfection of the delivery.
Indeed. I think now he's one goal shy from equaling the record of Siyabonga Nomvet of all-time PSL top goal scorer. And ever since those news came out, Peter Shalulile has been struggling to score because that's the number that you're chasing. And look at that, what it means to Coach Kadosen as well. For a player, so many rumors surrounding him to be back into the team. Peter Shalulile loves scoring, loves working hard for Mamelodi Sundowns, loves working hard on and around the players. You can see also what it means to the Mamelodi Sundowns bench. As soon as he scored, everyone ran to him. That's one of the important players within Mamelodi Sundowns dressing room.
Steve Compella, Miguel Cardoso, 2-0 scoreline is pretty impressive. Nice free kick from Nkanyiso Zungu. And have a corner again will Magesi FC, but the Sundown supporters are the ones that are singing the loudest in Seshego. 1 minute remaining in regulation time. How much stoppage time will be added on by referee Sitiso Mkwanazi? Again, it will be Nkanyiso Zungu. A little touch in there from Samuel Dopo. Should be keeper's ball. Ball bounced rather unkindly for Komoto Musadi. Straight away back down the other side. Chance for Matthews to make it 3. Unselfish. Oh my goodness me, that's wide from Motiba. Should have been 3.
It should have been 3 indeed. So nice there for Lebo. Good pass also from Ronan Williams to find Tashik Matthews on the run. I thought Tashik will cut in as well. Look at the pass as well. Matthews finding himself in a good space, playing the cut back. But here Lebo could have done better there. Just at least try to hit the target. Force Chipezela to make that save.
4 minutes added time, ladies and gentlemen. Seshego Stadium.
Surely before the end of the season, it's going to be Peter Shalulile who will eclipse Siyabonga Pele and Nomvete. Four minutes added on by referee Mkunazi, by the way. Don't forget Magesi FC. The caption to the top left-hand side of your screen has a little red tag over the top of it, and that's because Letlolom Charlie picked up 2 cards within a space of just a short space of time for foul play. Got himself sent off and will be missing in action for the next 2 games, Arrows and Amazulu. John McConey and Magesi will wait a week before they have action again in the Betway Premiership. Mamelodi Sundowns, the matches are coming thick and fast because it's Pirates over this coming weekend and then Chiefs on the 27th. So who wants to be Mamelodi Sundowns in the next week or so? Gratitude for a big squad. The Chiefs will have the weekend off and then preparation for the match against Mamelodi Sundowns on Wednesday next week. The match to take place in Pretoria. But yeah, Mamelodi Sundowns have come, they've seen, they've conquered. And Magesi FC conceding more goals in one match than they've conceded in the season so far. But no doubt there will be some bounce back ability, and that's the test, I suppose, is how you're going to consider your options and how you're going to approach the next encounter. Arrows are a difficult side. Mangoba Nguti Been with the team a long time, was with Mamelodi Sundowns a long time as well. Very accomplished coach. They bolstered the squad down there as well. Little dink over the top by Kgotatso Moriba. Offside. And Mamelodi Sundowns playing such a high line that it's difficult for Magesi FC to find any leverage whatsoever. Bandage head of Tepo Makgocha, who had a massive collision with goalkeeper Ronwen Williams from Mamelodi Sundowns and found himself with a concussion. We do hope that he's able to continue, but the voices that you hear, not those in your head, those coming from Seshego, are the singing voices of Mamelodi Sundowns. 10th goal of the season scored by Peter Shalulile, and his 128th goal in the domestic South African League. This man's played well since he's come on. Matseko, Tepelo Marina, Mosa Lebuza. Just control over the ball. 30 seconds to go before we have full time in Seshego. There will be success, no doubt, here in Seshego for Magesi this season. The next time they play at home will be against AmaZulu. And then Siwilele, a little bit later on in the season, TX Galaxy will be hosted here. But tonight it just hasn't been their night. And although they were mighty competitive during the first half, it ended 0-0. In the second half, it's been all Mamelodi Sundowns. They scored 2 goals, they pick up 3 points, they go to third on the table. It's been a good performance from Sundowns.
It's been a good performance. Better second half for Mamelodi Sundowns. First half they struggled to deal with those long balls, set pieces from Magesi. Also we posed the question also in the first half, will they be able to continue with the energy that they brought into the game? But yet Mamelodi Sundowns, with all those changes that they made in the second half, profited them. They're able to find a way, they're able to find the places that how they really want to play. And exactly, a red card as well from Charlie, possibly maybe caused the second goal. But nonetheless, Mamelodi Sundowns were better starts in the second half, defensively and also creating chances to go forward and win the game.
Good performance from Ronwen Williams. He had to be very sharp and was during the course of the first half of that clearance off the line, and then that header from Sibanyoni that he tipped over the top, and then they lived dangerously, Mamelodi Sundowns at the beginning, just trying to consolidate themselves and settle down with the 10 changes that came from coach Miguel Cardozo, and a couple of shots, one off the crossbar, one off the post from Magesi, and it could have been a different story if both of those snuck in over the line. They didn't, and Mamelodi Sundowns showing their quality and bringing on players like Tepelo Marina, like Marcello Allende, like Tepelo Maseko, Teshrik Matthews, Lebo Motiba, and it made the difference. Settling down, the control in the middle of the park, and being able to get that ball in the back of the net. Adams with a header, Shalulile with a strong left-footed shot for his goal, and we do hear that I have a correction from our statistician. He has in fact drawn level at 129 goals with Siyabonga Nomvete, so congratulations Mr. Shalulile. And on top of that we have our activation from Betway, Bunise, and Matlala got herself $20,000 to go away from the stadium. So it might not have been a success for Magesi tonight, but one of their fans walks away 20 grand richer. Mamelodi Sundowns go away 2 goals and 3 points richer. And we'll have a Player of the Match award for a player that'll be announced to you by Lerato Paco in a few moments' time as well, to make that player a little bit richer as well. Mamelodi Sundowns had to wait for the second half to score the goals. Adams and Shalulile provided the impetus for Sundowns to win tonight by 2-0.
A big thank you to our commentary team. It ends in a victory for Mamelodi Sundowns, their first victory on the road for this Betway Premiership season. I am joined by the Betway Premiership man of the match, Divine Lunga from Mamelodi Sundowns, and it seemed like a lot of the work needed to be done in that second half, and a lot of performance. In talking about just good performances needed to happen in that second half, Divine.
First of all, I want to thank God first. And then secondly, I want to thank my family. Third, I want to thank the Mamelodi family for supporting us as players. And then I want to say thank you to everyone. And it wasn't an easy game for us, especially first half in the pitch. for us because they're the team that always want to play. But the situation, the ground wasn't like allowing us like to play some moments. But I think like we did a good shift today.
Let's talk about that with regards to things not clicking in at that first half. How were you able, as the team, to talk to yourselves and then give a better second half performance?
Half time, the coach was like, we don't have like to panic. We have to like to stay humble and then manage like to try and manage game. It will come up second half. We have to like start like play, force it, like we must force it, and then it will come out. And then we did like we were calm at the break. We're doing the good shift. I think like we did take the instruction from the coach and then we applied them in the field. I think that's why like we did like a good shift in the second half.
Talking about that second half, it seemed like things really clicked into gear for Mamelodi Sundowns. They started looking like that well-oiled machine. You could see the communication was a lot more smoother and easier.
Yeah, I think like second half, like when there was a good communication and a good shift, so that's why I think they were easy for us. We could like find like those our space in the channel. So I think like that was the problem in the first half, because the first half they were pressing high, so we couldn't play with this pitch because the pitch is small. When you try like to force it in the half channel, they were pressing it so hard. That's why we were having some couple of mistakes in the first half. In the second half, we had like to fix it. Yeah, I think like we did a good shift in the second half.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Divine Lunga, top performance today, especially his passing accuracy with just making sure that that defense really held on, especially in that first half, because it was Dikwena Tsameti that were calling the shots. I am now joined by the head coach of Mamelodi Sundowns, Coach Miguel Cardoso. Coach, appreciate your time. It seemed like things did not go according to plan in that first half, but in that second half, you brought in the reinforcements and then things started to fall into place for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Well, sometimes the work that the bees in the first half do also help to pick the honey in the end. Well, teamwork. Of course, that when you put 3 young players that just started being on this level, obviously we should expect that things go a little bit slower. But it's a teamwork, and we knew that we had quality to add to the match. We had how to change the match, and we knew that we had to do it